party, no coughing. I think we're all set.
Okay, guys, first thing, I just want to announce the 2018 UNM Hall of Honor permanent inductees, and there will be a banquet on October 18th, and then they'll be honored on October 20th at our home game against Fresno. And the inductees are the 2017 Women's Cross Country National Champions. There's two basketball players, Pete Gibson and Willie Long. There's one from our men's soccer program, Jeff Rowland, and then two former Lobo football players, Sam Scarber, that was a running back here. I think he played 9 years in the NFL, and then is still in his acting career on the West Coast. Pretty impressive, some of the projects he's been involved with as an actor. And then the last one, Dontrell Moore. We all know Dontrell still holds the record for rushing here at UNM. So congratulations to all those Hall of Honor inductees, and it's really a neat deal. I had a chance to go to it last year, and Madison and everybody that's in charge of this really does a nice job. So congratulations. The second thing, I actually just found out today, coming off the practice field, Bob Brown told me that after 35 years in this business, that he is, I'll use the word retiring from 101.7, the team, the locker room. Am I saying that right? Yeah. And after 35 years, we just talked briefly. Anytime you put your name on something, and all of you guys put your name on something, particularly when you put your name on something that the public is going to see and the public is going to talk about, you feel a responsibility to do a tremendous job of preparation. I saw that when I was at ESPN for those 10 years. You feel a responsibility. And sometimes you look at those jobs like, and I've said this at times, like, particularly my time at ESPN, to get paid for doing that is a heck of a deal. But a lot of times people don't realize, certainly you all do, I'm preaching to the choir here, how much preparation and how much work it takes to do that. So many nights when you're home, maybe when you are home, you're sitting there thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow on air. All of you guys live that. And you have to watch a lot of different things to be knowledgeable for 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever that time you're on the air. So, I feel very fortunate to have experienced some of those things, and I understand Bob and how much goes into that. It's personal. It's personal. And the thing I've appreciated about Bob, honestly, I don't listen too much, and I really don't read a lot. This isn't about me. But with Bob, I also know, having been at ESPN 10 years, people try to get at you to do their agenda for them. People try to get at you to do their agenda for you. I saw that at ESPN when I broadcasted games with coaches. And it takes someone really with a high character to be able to research, to give their own opinion, not be just a parrot for someone else that may be a cynic or somebody else that wants you to report something that may not be totally factual, but they're going to give you that tip. And I've got great respect for media people that do not go the easy route. Do not go the easy route. Do not let other people do their negative job for them when they don't really have the facts nor the courage to do them themselves. And Bob, I appreciate the professionalism with which you've done things. And again, 35 years. 35 years. It says New Mexico on the front because we all appreciate what he's done. But on the back it says Bob Brown. And Bob, I appreciate your professionalism.
Thank you very much. My eligibility was up a long time.
I tell you what, you look young to have done this 35 years. You really do.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
And
I appreciate you coming on the show this evening, too.
yeah, thank you. So I guess let's get to it now. I guess last week we kind of started off with the elephant in the room, right, going from Incarnate Word to Wisconsin. Maybe the elephant in the room this week is you're going to Las Cruces, and what's listed as your third quarterback is going to be the starting quarterback, which means then your backup is who was the fourth quarterback. And the next one then is your fifth one, who was Bryson Carroll, that we actually moved to running back. With that said, I don't think that Sharon Jones is a typical third quarterback. I think he was third quarterback because he wasn't here in the spring. He had a hamstring injury that took away a good 2 weeks of his fall camp. So technically he was the third. We have all week to prepare. He has all week to prepare to prove he is not a third quarterback. And we're excited about this. I will say this, I really like our team. I really like our team. I really like our coaching staff. I just like our team and the way they approach things, the kind of chemistry we have, the kind of leadership we have. I like our team. With that said, we know the challenge. You know, we've lost 2 in a row. We lost by 1 point down there 2 years ago. We turned the ball over a couple times. They made some plays on us and they beat us. Last year, they beat us by 2 points. It was 30-5 going into the fourth quarter. You know, we came roaring back, scored 23, went for 3 two-point conversions, made one of them. We turned the ball over 4 times, I think. So we've turned the ball over 6 times in 2 years against them. Be a heck of a game. It's a heck of a challenge, great opportunity to get down there. And again, just like we stood here last week, getting better individually, and then it'll be collectively as a team. So I like the atmosphere. I like the environment of how important it is to these kids, and we're excited about this opportunity. Great. Henry.
Coach, early on, it was a wow experience for your fans. Blocking bigger people, executing, knocking them down, running the ball well, throwing it well, catching it well, in the end zone early. Wow, for us,
Yeah.
fans. What was it like for you, your players? Can you rekindle that moment with consistency to go win again with that experience?
That's it. I mean, I think we could have been consistent on offense against Wisconsin. I really do. Again, with 9 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second quarter, it's Sharon in there at quarterback when we had lost Colton the week before, knowing that 1 and 2 got most of the reps all through camp because Sharon was out. He was put in a tough position. I think we could have stayed consistent on offense. I really do. I just felt like schematically, plan, they're not going to give up a lot of points, but I think we could have been consistent moving the ball. We became inconsistent, then we had to one drive in the fourth quarter against their ones. But we went through a period of inconsistency there, and we turned it over 3 times in the fourth quarter. Never on defense where we're going to keep them from running the ball. That's the reality of that. We had to depend on turnovers, which we had to. Never consistently were we going to stop them. I felt pretty good in the kicking game, even though they had a great punter and a great kicker. We covered kickoffs extremely well. We were going to make yards on punt returns if we could have made them punt. We only made them punt 1 time. We had 9 yards. With that said, 7 minutes and 50 seconds or something left in the third quarter, it's a 10-7 game. You know, we have the ball on the 30-yard line with a chance to kick a field goal and tie it or score and go ahead. I look at it just as the flow of the game and how the matchups were. I thought we could move it on them with Tavaka in there. We got a little bit wobbly with Sharon in there. We were never going to stop them running the ball on us. We were in a good position. Got away from it at the end. That's what I look at it. You know, nothing more, nothing less. And I think we did get better in some areas, but we turned the ball over 3 times in the second half, which killed us.
They should have cut away on the sideline, walking right after that touchdown. You're up 7-0. What were you thinking?
The first touchdown?
Yeah.
Probably not as, I've talked to you a lot about this, probably not near as, you know, I thought Delane Hart made a heck of a catch, and I thought Tavaka snuck that in there. But I'm realistic enough to know there's a lot of football left in Madison, Wisconsin, more than just that first slant for a touchdown. But I was proud of the execution on the first drive. It wasn't too big for us. We did belong there. Got away from us in the end. Not a whole lot different than Utah State last year at Wisconsin. Played them tough, and then it got away from them at the end because they're just so big. So, it's a long season. I've been doing this a long time. I don't have a whole lot of particular thoughts when one thing happens. There's a lot of things left.
How do you handle reps behind Sharon this week as far as if something happens, how do you handle, in your words, 4 and 5 and getting them ready?
Exactly. Trey Hall is our backup. Trey Hall has had a lot of work because Sharon was out in camp. So Trey Hall was actually the 3 all camp long. Freshman from East Texas, going to be a good player for us. Going to be a good player. And then Bryson Carroll, we work today as the 3rd, but it's mostly Sharon because Sharon is behind in reps. And then it's Trey, and then it's Bryson Carroll, just a little bit with Bryson Carroll. And obviously we're going to have different packages if it's Trey and it's Bryson. We're going in with Sharon with the full package. He can run, he can throw. We're changing a couple of the reads that are things that he's more comfortable with, but it's the full package.
Coach, last week we talked about the Wisconsin game and a representing New Mexico in the Mountain West capacity. How satisfied are you with Saturday's performance, and does that message carry over this week?
I think that's more for you guys to probably look at, as you watched it on television or you were at the game. It was 10-7 with 7-some minutes left in the third quarter, but it ended up 45-14. We walk out of there having lost 45-14. So you walked out of there with not quite the feeling that you represented for 60 minutes like you should have, because we did turn it over, some crazy, stupid turnovers, So I know we belonged there, and I know our kids felt like they belonged there, so it wasn't too big for us. And I said this to someone, it's one of those ones you leave wishing you could play again, where last year when you walked out of Texas A&M, it was, man, just get me out of here. I don't want any more of this. So from that standpoint, I'd have to say we did. I think we got a chance to be pretty good. I think we have a chance to be pretty good. Now we have to go to Las Cruces with the 3rd quarterback and go win a game.
Coach, what did you learn about your guys? You just say you think you have a chance to be pretty good, but before you left, you were saying this will give you more of a gauge on what you guys really are.
Yeah, I think first of all, we've got a group that knows how to prepare for games. I was impressed with just how they've prepared last week, and then they flipped the switch and came back and prepared for this game. I feel good about our leadership. I really do, and I feel good about the chemistry. They're hungry. They're hungry. They know we're not good enough yet. They know we've got some difficulties. We've got some injuries. We've got some things happening. I just like the chemistry of our team and the chemistry between the players and coaches. It's a good environment. It's just a good environment on a day-to-day basis. And I've been in it long enough when I know that feeling. Now, we got some problems. But what's that they say about problems? And you can put the percentages on it. 75% don't care. 25% are glad you have them, right? Or maybe in certain cultures, maybe it's 50% don't care and 50% are glad you have them. We got some problems. We realize that. But overall, I just like the environment. I like the feel of this team and this coaching staff. I really do.
Coach, about Sharon, after he got injured in camp, how did you like the way he handled his business, getting back healthy, holding his spot on the depth chart? He probably didn't like it, especially because of suffering an injury that wasn't necessarily because of play. And how do you like he's handled his business ever since then up to this point?
It was a tough injury because nobody takes better care of their body than Sharon. Just in the short time he was here through the summer and then through camp up until being injured, nobody spent extra time. Every time I went in that weight room, he was doing something to take care of that body. And that's why it was such a setback. It happened like in the first play he was in the scrimmage out here, he just pulled that hamstring, so it came out of nowhere. I think he handled it pretty well, but he's a guy that came in thinking he could win the starting job. Then all of a sudden he knew and we knew he was going to be out 2 weeks. So it became the Tavaka Colton show. So I don't know mentally that he would have been as immersed as he was. And that's why I'm so anxious to see this week, because he is in the middle of it now. It's every second he's going into this knowing he's the starting quarterback. So I don't really know the answer to that. You know, did he handle it as well as he should have? I don't know. I don't know. You know, he wasn't as locked in the game. We'll see. You know, do the extra reps, does the different mindset now help him? And does he prove that he does belong? I'm anxious to see it. I'm anxious to see it, and you know, we all have a lot riding on that.
Coach, you always have like a surprise play or something. One I saw in the game against Wisconsin, I hadn't heard of him at all, was Marcus Hayes, and he really played well. And can you tell me a little bit about what you thought about him? Because he was in on so many plays, it seemed like.
Yeah, we had two safeties last year, Marcus Hayes from Chicago and Nico Bolden from Minneapolis. Both of them were good young prospects, and we decided to redshirt both of them. We just said, let's wait. And Marcus is really a good football player. You know, he had committed to Western Michigan when P.J. Fleck was at Western Michigan. He was a receiver, punt returner, played a little bit of defense, heck of a high school player. We were fortunate to get him. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's right now playing as solid as anybody in that secondary. But that redshirt year really helped him. He's got pretty good coverage skills. He's a pretty good tackler. You could see he made a couple tackles, knocked the ball out of Jonathan Taylor's hands, recovered it. He catches punts well. You know, he's just a freshman, but took advantage of the redshirt freshman year. And then Nico Bolden, you may have noticed, he was on our kickoff coverage team, and he went down, and we call it cut the butter, made a heck of a tackle on the 16-yard line on our kickoff return team, kickoff coverage team. So they're just two good young freshman safeties that we feel like are going to be good prospects, and he's a good player.
Hey, Coach, the offensive line, this is going to be critical. What's your assessment of the line going into this third game? Because there was some question marks at the start of the season. You feel really good about the line?
You know, I think Wisconsin is such a different style. You know, their nose guard was probably 360, number 99. When they're in base defense, Wisconsin, they're a square, thick, two-gap, don't attack the line of scrimmage kind of team. They're big, but they're not just attacking you. We played pretty good against that. You know, we didn't have much movement. We probably shouldn't have ran that sneak on 3rd and 1 when we fumbled. You know, if we had it to do over, we wouldn't do that. Particularly because we didn't get up to the line fast enough, and they saw we were sneak, and they checked to a sneak defense. We showed progress, but I also know that this week they are an attacking front. You know, 51 and 94, both those guys have played a lot of football in there, and they attack. You know, number 10's a guy, you know, he'll slice down in there. They're a different style of defense, and it's attacking. Thought we played pretty good against Wisconsin, but they're a read kind of front. It changes this week because they attack. You know, Incarnate Word, and I said this, we didn't get a lot out of what their defense did other than our operation. We saw our offensive line against a read-type front. This week we'll see more against an attacking-type front because it is a difference.
From talking to Sharon, I just noticed how confident he is. How much does that help him as a player to go out and do this? You know, like, and I was talking to him about all his experiences, how he came, you know, like he started out at Tennessee, went to Mount Sac, all of that stuff, and prepared him for this.
I think that's what we'll find out. You know, he was a heck of a high school player. You all know, highly recruited, went to Tennessee, didn't play at Tennessee, played a little bit at Tennessee. Goes to Mount Sac, he's the guy. Played pretty good. Now he's the guy here. We'll see more now. We'll see more. You know, that's why we play these games. And I'm as anxious as you are. He's going to be anxious. Let's go see. You know, we got a week to coach him up completely into the things he feels comfortable with. They're game planning against them down there. That's why we play these games. That's why it's so intriguing.
Okay, Matt. How long do you expect Tabaka to be out?
You know, they're hard to tell. You know, we hope to have him back. You know, we have an open date next week, so we hope to have him back for Liberty.
At what point was he showing symptoms during the game?
Well, it happened, we ran an option. He got hit about right here in the chest. The helmet might have gone up into the chin. Then on the next two plays, he didn't make the read he should have made, and we knew something was up. So it was 2 plays he stayed in there, and then when he came out, we knew what it was, and that was it.
Sharon has a great game. Does he become the starter?
Man, I would love, the next press conference we have, I would love to hear that question at the time. And then that is my dream scenario right there. That will be my dream scenario.
Last one is Brent.
Coach, how's this rivalry, Lobos, Aggies, unique compared to other rivalries you've been a part of?
You know, it's what rivalries are. You know, there's people in these office buildings that there's a New Mexico State Aggie sitting in one desk, and there's a Lobo sitting in the next desk. There's kids graduating from high school where X number of them are going to Las Cruces, and X number of them are going to Albuquerque. And that thread ties through all of this. You know, there's a lot of familiarity with people, so it's important. You know, I've had several people tell me over the summer, Coach, beat the Aggies. I mean, so yeah, that's what it is. You know, it doesn't matter the size of the stadium. You go back to your high school, right? Back in high school, when you had that high school rivalry. Whatever that thread of familiarity is, makes that special. So it's on. It's on.
I want this to be a good last question. What do you think about them passing on that 22 seconds?
No, I mean, you know what? They ran the ball the whole way down there.
They could.
It was a 4-yard pass, right? Now, maybe if they had a play action and thrown it 48 yards down there, nah. I know Paul and I know Barry and I know that program well enough. I mean, it's our responsibility to stop them. You know, I coach.
them on the ground, so that's why it didn't.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It didn't mean one thing to me. No.
Big win, Coach.
Hold on one second.
Coach, rivalry games are tough, man. You guys have lost the last 2 seasons. Barring a loss in this 3rd game, do you think that might add some pressure to you maybe losing your job here, especially with all the recent, investigations surrounding you and stuff like
That's one for you to figure out. You had all the facts on that question. You should probably figure that answer out yourself.
Coach, homegrown Gabe Ortega, can you share with us his development?
He's developed. He's developed. You know, he was a high school quarterback, got bigger before he arrived here. He got up to like 215 pounds, which was a mistake. He had to take the weight back off. So he's still catching up with his body being at the proper weight so he can keep that quickness and speed he had in high school. But as far as knowing what to do, being a contributor on special teams, having a future here, I think his progress has been really good. Okay? Anything else? All right, guys, thank you.